2, and 1. Alright? Got everybody? So, we're about to go over these do now questions. What did you all talk about on Thursday? Do you remember the days? No? Alright, somebody help me out. What did we talk about on Thursday? What did we do? Can you speak louder, Darius?
We talked about different types of cells.
Alright, what is diffusion? Do you remember the division? Diffusion in the cells, what does it do? So we talked about something called passive transport, right, Darius? What does passive transport do for a cell? Were you in the division? What does it do? Can somebody help her out? Harris, what does passive transport do?
It moves like proteins so that the proteins can be moved to the cell.
So, what are the proteins passing through?
No, yeah, salt, right?
Salt is a type of substance that passes through. But what are they passing through in the cell?
No, the cell membrane.
The cell membrane. So you have nutrients and other substances passing through the cell membrane. What types of substances pass through the cell membrane, Nadeja? What's one that we talked about on Thursday? Salt. Salt is one thing that passes through the cell membrane. A lot of cells use salt. What would happen if too much salt passed through the cell, Antoine? What do you think might happen? What does salt do? Make stuff salty, bitter. What do you think might happen though to the cell? The cell might do what? It might get bigger. It might dry out. Actually, it would do the opposite. So the cell will probably shrink, right? All right. So, what does passive transport do for the cell then, Paris? Kind of. What is it doing though?
Oh.
Just more detail.
It moves nutrients through the cell membrane so that the cell can get what it needs.
Okay. And were you here on Thursday, Jeremiah? You don't know if you were here on Thursday? All right. So let's get to answer these questions. Nadeja, can you read the first question to me?
If water is moving out of the cell because the concentration of salt is higher,
so this is an example of a blank solution. So I want you to hold up 1 if you had A, 2 if you had B, 3 if you put C. On the count, hold up, put them down. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold up your answers. Hold up your answers. That's what I need to see. You guessed it? All right, so what did you put, Jeremiah? I see a lot of 2s. B. Why'd you put B? You guessed? All right, is there somebody with a better answer for why they put B? Why'd you put B, Nadeja? You have to give me a good answer today.
what number y'all want? 1.
1. Why'd you put B, Nadeja? What does it mean? What does hypertonic mean?
Pick up the Duno. Come on. I give you a pencil, we'll pick up the Duno.
So it's talking about the concentration. What does it mean as far as concentration? You forgot? All right. Can somebody help her out? Faith, can you help her out with number 1? So we talked about passive transport, trying to balance out one side of the cell membrane and the other side of the cell membrane to make sure that there's the same amount on either side. What does hypertonic mean from the reading? So question number 1 today. Is there more on the outside or on the inside? More salt on the outside or on the inside? On the outside? And where's the salt going?
Where's the water going? Mr. Collins, it might be helpful if you switch over and
Okay.
maybe
I
in
got
the
you.
thing. That might help.
So, we have an example of hypertonic. And that means that you would have more salt or water on the outside of the cell. So things are passing through the cell membrane to make sure that it's balanced. Passive transport tries to balance the solution from the outside to the inside. So we move to question number 2. Jeremiah, can you read that for me? Question number 2. Jeremiah, can you read that for me? That's your verbal one, Jeremiah. Taiwan, can you read that for me?
Like the best answer is water moving into the cell because the concentration of salt is higher inside the cell than outside the cell. This is an example of that.
All right, so I want you to hold up 1, 2, or 3, 1 being A, 2 being B, 3 being C, on the count of 3 to show your answer. 1, 2, 3. Hold up your answer. Jeremiah, is that your answer? All right, Antoine, Willie, Angel, let me see your answer. Put your phone away, please. So we have 3. Do you agree with that, Antoine? If everybody else did?
I'm so tired, I'm sorry.
Stop, man. Alright. You're not going to sleep either. Alright, so this is an example of hypotonic, a hypotonic solution. Which means what? What do you think that means, Faye? Hypotonic. If hypotonic means more on the outside, more on the inside, which means that more water will pass through your cell membrane to balance out the salt. All right? So, moving forward, can you give me an example of two examples of passive transport pairs?
Osmosis and diffusion.
Osmosis and diffusion. So we talked about this on Thursday. And Antoine, can you read number 4 for me? So why do cells need passive transport? And I'm actually going to come back to you, Deja. Give me a good answer. I'm waiting for a good answer. Why do cells need to balance?
So that it won't be too much.
Okay, and what did Darius say about the salt? What would happen if there's too much salt inside the cell? It'll shrink and it will dry out, right, Darius? So it might shrink and dry out. So cells need to balance. And I'm going to use a word along the concentration gradient. So that's a fancy way of saying whenever there's more on the outside, some needs to come in the inside. Whenever there's more on the inside, some needs to go to the outside. All right? So, Angel, can you read number 5 for me?
What are two different between osmosis and diffusion?
What are 2 differences between osmosis and diffusion?
Mr. Collins, can you slide it off a little?
Okay, I got you. So if you want to draw like that on yours, you can. Willie, can you give me one difference between osmosis and diffusion? You don't know anything about osmosis and diffusion?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? Well, can you try to remember one thing, a fact about osmosis? What is osmosis? So we've been talking about passive transport. What is osmosis? Why would you shrug and say you don't know? So osmosis is particularly water passing through the cell membrane. Why would that be important? Why would that be important, Faye? If water needs to get to the cell. You have no clue why water is important? Do cells need water? So why is it important? You just said it. Why is it important? Because what, Angel? Cells need water. Cells need to actively move water throughout themselves. All right? And Darius, can you give me one fact about diffusion? What do you remember about diffusion?
Yeah, I think like they use something to balance itself out. But I forgot.
So it uses something to balance itself out. So one fact about diffusion? It can balance cell particles. So I'm going to add to what you said. So osmosis is the movement of water through the cell. Diffusion is the movement of other types of particles, such as salt, things like that. We've given those examples. All right? So what's one difference? Can somebody give me one more difference between diffusion and osmosis? So why? Can you give me one more difference? No? Faith, can you give me a difference? Just one more? Between diffusion and osmosis? Just one more difference. What's distinct about it? Yep. You know one for diffusion? Alright, can you help Faith out then?
It changes like from high concentration to low concentration.
That's osmosis.
It is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm changing from a high to a low concentration.
No.
That was diffusion?
Yeah, it's moving from a high concentration to a low
And osmosis is
concentration.
the opposite?
It's the opposite.
Okay.
Osmosis, the water moves towards a high concentration.